everyone. Welcome to this week's Did Shakespeare. My name is Cassidy Cash, that's Shakespeare Girl, and this week is Thanksgiving week. Here in the United States, next Thursday will be Thanksgiving. So for the next couple of weeks, we're exploring the connection between William Shakespeare and the United States by looking at things like, did Shakespeare eat a turkey? Shakespeare lived during the Elizabethan era, which meant that the wealthy and powerful of that era would often hold lavish parties where they would eat extravagant and exotic foods to impress their friends and their political connections. And in between the meals, there would be performances. William Shakespeare was often hired by people like Queen Elizabeth to come to these lavish parties and present a play, which means he was there when they were showing off the exotic foods that got brought in by Sir Walter Raleigh and Francis Drake and other explorers Elizabeth had sent to foreign lands like the Americas to bring back exotic items like the turkey. Shakespeare uses the word turkey 4 times in his plays, meaning that he obviously knew the bird existed. But the question for this week is, did he eat the turkeys? Now, our guest this week on my podcast, That Shakespeare Life, which comes out every Monday, we spoke with Malene Lauritsen, and she is a researcher at the University of Exeter who recently discovered what she believes are the original turkey bones from the first turkeys brought over to England. They were able to date this set of bones to within 1520 to 1550 in England. By 1550, the turkey was already a popular common sight in London, England. And by the 1570s, when William Shakespeare was just 6 years old, he was a very young child, and it was a popular Christmas dish was to have turkey. So we know that the turkey was popular and around during Shakespeare's lifetime, but where did they come from? Well, in the Americas, Native Americans used to eat wild turkeys. The turkeys were living here natively, and they would eat them, and they would use their feathers for headdresses and other ceremonial purposes. So when the explorers from England came over to this continent from England, one of the rare and exotic animals they discovered was the turkey. One aspiring entrepreneur from England, William Strickland, saw this as a business opportunity. William Strickland would take the turkey back to England around the year 1525, and he ended up making a fortune selling turkeys as pets and as food for the rich and wealthy in England. He would go on to add the turkey to his family crest, and there's even a church that has stained glass windows where he lived that feature the turkey emblem. So why is it called a turkey, though? Where does that word come from? Well, there are a couple of theories about why it's called a turkey. One thought is that when Europeans first encountered the bird in the Americas, they incorrectly identified it as a guinea fowl, which had been imported by turkey merchants. And so it started becoming the turkey fowl and then later just called the turkey. A second theory comes from turkeys being moved to England and not directly from the Americas, but that they were first imported from the Americas to the Middle East, and then they came to England. This would make sense because these people would be known as turkey merchants, and so then the turkey became a turkey hen, which then developed into our modern term of turkey. There's a lot of historical debate between very smart people over which one it is, but those are the ideas of how it could have happened. We do actually have records of William Strickland bringing them to England, so he at least gets a little credit for bringing that to England. Now, I will point out, while the word turkey was common in England at this time, it's unclear whether William Shakespeare would have actually eaten a turkey at Christmas dinner or not, because originally the turkey was established for the rich and the wealthy. And Shakespeare's childhood really wasn't well off enough that he would be, entertaining dignitaries and buying exotic fare from foreign lands. So whether or not he actually ate it as a child, even though it was common, I don't know. Now, we do know that eventually by the Victorian times, the turkey at Christmas, along with the Christmas tree, were very widely popular and available across many, many classes. So what we know about William Shakespeare's time is that this was evolving as to which class could have it. And it wasn't uncommon for someone in a lower class to save up all year and buy something that was maybe normally outside of their class station, like a turkey. So it's completely possible, and we don't know for sure. What is interesting to consider when connecting Shakespeare's history to the United States is that by the 17th century, turkey was already a traditional food in North America. Now, that means that most likely the English who traveled to the North American continent brought this tradition over with them. So to me, that suggests that the tradition was already popular in England and further suggests that William Shakespeare would have eaten turkey. But again, there's nothing conclusive there, but it's very interesting information. So it seems while we can't prove anything conclusively and we don't have any photographs of Shakespeare eating turkey, it does seem highly likely that the bard consumed turkey exactly like we do to celebrate major holidays. Here in the United States, we eat turkey to celebrate Thanksgiving, and William Shakespeare most likely ate turkey to celebrate Christmas. However you and your family celebrate Christmas, I'm glad you spent today here with me, learning something new about the bard. That's it for this week. My name is Cassidy Cash, that Shakespeare girl, and I hope you will go and check out this week's episode of That Shakespeare Life with Malene Lauritsen and hear more about Shakespeare and turkeys in England. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.